Hello friends, welcome to Chaotic Knitting. This is a channel that discusses everything that's related to knitting. My name is Els, that's ELS. I'm 28 years old and I live in Belgium. Once again in Belgium it's still very hot, but it's nice to be able to enjoy the sun. I've got a drink here with me. It's a lavender coconut pineapple tea and it's one of my favorites. I really love it. I would invite you all to also grab something to drink, to grab your knitting projects if you like to knit along to these videos. And today I thought we would talk about everything that I've knitted in a year. I must say that when compiling all of the garments for this video, I was quite impressed with myself. There is a huge pile of stuff that's laying here that I have knitted in just 1 year. This has also been a year where I've had a wrist injury. The issues that I've had with my wrist, they increased gradually from the fall more towards spring, and I ended up needing surgery there, which made me not be able to knit for a full 2 months. So yeah, that makes it even more impressive, everything that I did get done. So yeah, I would really love to share all of these finished projects with you guys. So let's get into it. I think my personality is showing much more than last time, since I was really struggling in the last podcast, you guys. I was still recovering from COVID and we were in a heat wave. So I was not having a great time. Now I'm much more recovered. My symptoms are completely gone and the energy levels are up again. So it's a whole different story today, okay? This is my friend Yuki. She likes to be involved in everything. She's very happy. She can feel like she's part of the team. So let's get into it. A year ago in the summer, so yeah, full year ago, it's also when I really started to get into knitting. I've knitted as a child, my grandma taught me, but I never really got into it. I think that the patterns that were available at that time were not things that were super interesting for me to make, like not things that I would be inclined to actually wear. So I had fun doing it, but I never really got into like knitting projects that I would wear myself eventually. Then when I was a teenager, I also relearned how to knit because I had forgotten by that time. So I learned through YouTube videos. But I kind of stumbled onto the same problem. I used a lot of free patterns to knit then, and I always really enjoyed the process, but I ended up never actually wearing these garments. So I kind of just stopped knitting eventually. That was until a little over a year ago, where I think I can say I got really bitten by the knitting bug, and I have been knitting so intensely ever since. One of the first things that I made was this sweater, which is Petite Knit's Louisiana sweater. It's super beautiful. The sweater has a bit of a special construction. It's quite short, but I think it's really flattering the way that it's structured. It's also a super easy pattern, so definitely beginner friendly. And I knitted this in Pickles Cozy, which was a yarn that I picked up when I was visiting Norway last year. I spent so much money on yarn there, but I got such nice materials to work with after that trip. So you're gonna see a lot of garments here that I made from yarn that I bought in Norway. And it's actually pretty nice because I think the last garment that I knitted with yarn that I bought in Norway was the balloon sweater, which I only finished about 2 months ago. So I really was knitting almost a year with yarn that I bought there. So even though I spent a lot of money, I did use it all up and I got a lot of garments out of it. And I was able to spend a long time knitting with the yarn that I bought on this trip. So yeah, It's a super beautiful yarn. It's alpaca. It's very soft. I really like this blue color. It's spilling a bit, but I don't mind too much. So I think I need to redo. I need to redo the bind off. Okay, like I've recently really realized that I have like issues with tensioning in Italian bind off, and this is a typical example. I made this sweater a year ago, and one sleeve I can pull up until over my elbow, and the other sleeve I can't because the bind off is too tight. And this always bothers me that I can't push it up. And it would be so easy to fix, honestly. I could do it in 10 minutes. Um, but I never really end up doing. I should just do it. I've got 2 skeins of this yarn left, so there is no problem with materials there. But I don't know, I just never feel like touching pieces anymore after they're done. When I finish them, my idea is like, okay, now I'm done with them and now it's over. And then I'm not gonna touch them again because I want to work on other things, and I can just never find the motivation to touch up pieces that I made where there is something specific that I don't really like about them. So yeah, that's definitely an example of this. But really happy with this sweater. You're gonna see a lot of garments from Petite Knits patterns. I really love them. They are super easy, they're super structured. Yeah, really glad, really happy with this sweater. I wear it a lot. I find it also so nice with these natural fibers that there's like a big temperature range in which I can wear these kinds of sweaters. They look really chunky, but they regulate your temperature quite well. So this is a sweater that I would wear in winter, but I would also wear in summer when it's evening and it's cooling down a bit. It just protects you very well against the wind and it keeps you warm, but it also doesn't make you overheat. So that's super nice. Because I used to not be a sweater wearer at all until I started knitting all these sweaters myself, and since then I'm growing to love them and I wear them all the time. The second thing that I want to show you is the sweater number 5 from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've mentioned this sweater in my 2 podcasts, and I refer to it as the cursed sweater because of how complicated the yoke is. I've really gotten such a brain freeze by in knitting this sweater, so it's so beautiful though. This is also a sweater that I really love. I've gotten so much compliments on it. Yeah, it's just really great. And I actually finished the second one of this one recently. It's super gorgeous. It's in a more gray beigey tone, and it's also in an extra small size, but also really beautiful. So this pattern is great, but also might crush your soul. I think it's worth it. You have to make up your own mind, but yeah, I would recommend it, but yeah. If you try this pattern, I wish you good luck, and I would like to see how it turns out. So you can definitely send me pictures of you guys making this pattern, because I think it would be nice to feel a bit of like a community in the people that have like made it all the way through, that have succeeded in finishing this sweater. I actually don't know the yarn that I used for most of the yarn that I bought on my Norway trip. I didn't keep the labels, so I don't know which yarn this is. It's also an alpaca, but I don't remember the brand or anything. So then this is another petite knit pattern. I knit the Novice sweater. Yeah, it's really cute. This is a super beautiful yarn. I didn't combine this with the mohair. It's just the yarn base itself that's variegated. I'm not sure what this yarn is made of. I think it's also an alpaca. I think most of it is alpaca, honestly, but I can't say for sure. It was really beautiful though, and it was such a pleasure to work with. The yarn was so fluffy. Yeah, the thing is with this sweater, and I've heard other people say this as well, that you kind of need to make an elastic in the color. The pictures in the pattern look super differently than the way that my sweater looks when I'm wearing it. Because in the pictures of the pattern, the color is really standing up. Whereas if I'm wearing it, it's always laying down against my skin like this. Which I don't mind, it still looks nice. But if you want to make it look like the pattern, the color is gonna need some reinforcement to stay upright. Definitely another sweater that I regularly wear. It's pretty basic, it's really nice. It's called a Novice sweater. It's a great beginner pattern. It's really simple. I think this would be a great first sweater to knit, honestly. It's really nice. It's something that you probably are going to wear a lot. And it's super simple. Plus the needles are quite big. I think it's, can't say for sure, but I think it's like 5 or 6 millimeters, which I think is perfect. It's not too chunky, but it still is going to go pretty fast. So great beginner pattern, this one. Another sweater that I finished quite a while ago, I think almost a year ago, is a Louvre sweater from Petite Knit, which is another gorgeous pattern. I knit this one in a medium, and I think it was the last Petite Knits sweater that I knit in a medium because I think they're pretty oversized, and this is a super beautiful sweater, but it looks a bit too chunky on me, and I feel the way this sweater is structured, it's quite elegant, and I think it would have looked nice when it would have been a bit more fitted to my body. So I really love this. I think the color is super gorgeous, and I also wear this one a lot, but I think I might make it again at some point. I shouldn't say this, my project list is already way too long, but I might at some day make it again in a size small. I think that would be super nice. The sweater is so comfortable. It's really nice having the turtleneck. I actually really enjoy it. The sweater is not itchy at all, so it doesn't bother me. The material that I made this sweater with is the Knitting for Olive Double Soft Merino in the color Oatmeal. It says it in the name, it's really soft. It's really soft, it's really nice to work with. It's kind of a structured yarn, it has some support inside the thread, so I did not knit this together with any mohair or anything, but it still looks really nice, slightly fluffy. Yeah, super gorgeous sweater. I'm so excited about all of this. Man, it's really cool to see all of the things that I've made. It's so much. Sometimes I surprise myself, honestly. Then I made this. Yeah, I don't know what to call this actually. It's a top, I guess. It's called the pullover pattern from Pearl Soho. The pattern has long sleeves, but I actually really like the way this top looked when I was just trying it on. So after I finished the body, I was trying it on and I was thinking, oh, it really looks really nice like that. So I think I just knitted like a few rounds and then I bound off the armholes and then, yeah, it was done. I don't wear this one. I almost never wear this one. It's too itchy for me. I've worn it a couple of times and it looks super nice. Every time I put it on, I'm thinking to myself, why do I never wear this garment? But then almost immediately it's like, ah yeah, it's just a little too itchy, but just a little too itchy. Like I can't deal with it. I'm not someone who can handle any kind of itchiness well, so yeah, and it's too bad because it just really makes me not wear something. So it looks super nice and I'm super proud of making it. But yeah, not something that I wear a lot. I also don't remember which yarn I used for this one. It's a yarn that I bought a long time ago. It looks really nice. It's this kind of charcoal gray, and the yarn itself is really fluffy. You can not even see the stitches, honestly, but I think it looks quite nice. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Okay, I realized that I was holding this one inside out, which is why you couldn't see the stitches. You can see them a little bit better now, but it's still quite obscured. You can see the nice little lines from the yoke here. It looks really good. Yeah, it looks super nice and fluffy. I really love this color as well, but just a little bit on the itchy side, this one. Then this is a project that I remember that I was super excited about, and I'm really proud of making it. And it's the Yoko top. It's quite hard to show you. I don't know how to show you this. It's a wrap top. Okay. It's not easy to show you guys this one, but this is the Yoko top from Knitting for Olive. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's so stunning. Even now, looking back at it, I'm really, yeah, so amazed by it. I found this hand-dyed king fiber yarn in Norway. It's their DK, I think, and the color cornflower. It is so beautiful. And I think this was one of my first fine needle patterns. And it was a bit of a struggle getting into it, how long it took to get it done, but I just worked so hard on it because I'm just so excited in getting it finished. But then, unfortunately, this one is not really wearable for me because it doesn't fit my bust. It's too revealing when I wear this one, which is super unfortunate. I think it's kind of the tricky thing if you are knitting a size small or size medium, that the busts of these kinds of tops is also going to be very small. And this one ended up really being way too revealing. So it's another garment that I think I've never really worn this one, unfortunately, because it looks super nice. I don't know what to do with it. It just lies in my closet and I know that I'm not gonna wear it, but I can't just get rid of it because it's still special to me. I might do a giveaway with this at some point. Yeah, really beautiful pattern, honestly. Would definitely recommend that you try to make it. It's a bit tricky in getting the I-cord lengths right on the shoulder straps, but it's a really fun pattern, and just the detail of the construction here, it's so beautiful. Yeah. So this was another finished project. Then I also finished a camisole by My Favorite Thing is Knitwear, and this is a camisole number 5. I knitted this in a cotton yarn. It's a Dahlia Summer in Burning Sun. This was a limited edition hobby yarn last summer, so I don't know if it's still available right now. But it's a yarn that slowly changes color from more of this blue-greenish tone to orangey pink. It's really beautiful, but it was such a struggle knitting this. I only used one skein of yarn for this whole camisole, and I had not thought this construction through at all because this camisole, you need to knit the front and the back separately until you're underneath the armholes. And it was so stressful because I had to make sure that I had enough of the same color left over to do the other side as well. And then also I think, the armholes, it would have been nicer to use more of the same color, but I wasn't able to. I think I ran out. So I also don't really wear this one a lot, honestly. When this camisole is super beautiful, I think I would like to make it again in more of a neutral tone. I quite like bright colors, but I think it's the detailing with the armholes that makes it a bit too much for me. Also, I don't know why, but it's quite wide at the end, so it doesn't really hug my body very well. So, yeah. Also, something that I end up not wearing too much. I kind of botched the Kitchener stitch at these armholes. It was the first time that I did them, and I was struggling. So, unfortunately, they're also quite visible because, yeah, I was really struggling with doing the edges at these armholes because I also did the color changes gradually. So the top of the armhole is more of a lighter pink and the bottom is more of a bright red. And I had to have enough for both sides again. So there was already so much to think about. And it's definitely not my neatest work, but it was really fun to make. And I'm glad that I could get the experience from this. I kind of had forgotten about this one. It was so much work. This is a Cumulus blouse from Petite Knits. I knitted this one in a cashmere from King Fiber. It's the souffle in the color Papyrus. It's super beautiful. It's this beautiful beige color and it has these little speckles of brown and orange in it. Yeah, it's super beautiful. I think also, again, a pattern from Petite Knit that I knit in a medium that I would have preferred to have knit in a small. Yeah, it's not the most flattering. I think it's for me, this is a very delicate garment. Like it's knit in cashmere, and I would like it to be a bit more form fitting. I also ran out of yarn, so I made the sleeve shorter, which I regret a bit because I think I would wear this more if I made the sleeves a bit longer, like the way that she suggests in the pattern. This type of sleeve length is not the most flattering for me. But this is, again, a beautiful pattern, a beautiful garment. It's, again, a super clear pattern to follow. Really enjoyed making this. It was a bit monotonous. I think also I made this when I had not been knitting. I had not been knitting with smaller needle sizes for that long. And being a blouse, it goes quite slowly. There's not much happening. So it was definitely more of a mindless knit. I was a bit worried of not getting through it because I had heard like these stories from other knitters that this pattern is risky of becoming an abandoned project. But I didn't knit it in one go, so very happy with that. This sweater is from We Are Knitters Kits. It's the classic sweater. I knit this one for a good friend of mine. I was at a point where I didn't really know what to knit anymore, so I just asked him to look at the kits on We Are Knitters because I was looking forward to trying something from theirs, and he chose this one. This is a sweater with a panel construction, and I really messed up somewhere in the sweater. Yeah, on this side, the seaming between the sleeve and the body, it looks really nice. But on this side, it's super wonky because I had done the seaming. Here you can see it really well, that it's all bulked up in one area. At some point, I had to redo the seaming. I don't really remember why. But I was struggling so much with finding the thread that I had used for seaming, and I just kept pulling out threads that were part of the pieces. It was so stressful. So I ended up making like a hole on the side of the body, and I couldn't really fix it because I would have had to go back all these rows, and the sweater was basically finished at this point. But yeah, I ended up just kind of being left with all these loose ends from the body, and then I just kind of grabbed a thread and kind of gathered everything and attached it. After a couple of months, it came loose, and then I had to fix it again. But that was really stressful, and honestly, I always had this idea that panel sweaters were more simple, but honestly, circular patterns are better. I've said it, you heard it here, okay? Circular patterns are much better than panel patterns. They're nicer to knit, you don't have to do seaming, and they look nice too, so I don't think I'll be doing another panel project quite soon. This is also the reason why, for example, with the Brisa dress that I'm knitting now, I'm not weaving in the ends of the I-cord straps until the very end, because I want to avoid another disaster like this one. But you learn from your mistakes, so this is not a knitting project. It's a crochet project, but I still wanted to show it to you guys because I'm really proud of it. It's a sunflower cardigan. I saw this on TikTok. There was someone who had used these colors just in regular granny squares, and yeah, they looked really like sunflowers. And then they showed you on their videos how to assemble them into a cardigan. So I did, and it's super nice. I don't wear this one much either. I think it's because it has no pockets. But yeah, it's super beautiful. And yeah, also something that I got a lot of compliments for when wearing. So there's a lot of loose ends poking out here. I have to weave them in again, the ends that came loose, but like I said, I can't find motivation to fix things that I once considered finished. So I honestly also don't mind too much. It's not like it's very noticeable. But yeah, I should wear this one more, honestly. It's so beautiful. I also don't remember the yarns I used for this one. I do remember that for the sunflower, the petals and the inside, they're acrylic yarns. I think they were from Vibra, which is a very cheap store in Belgium, and they sell some yarns. I think all of them almost are acrylic. And then the green was a merino yarn that I crocheted with double thread. I don't remember where it's from, but I think it was the perfect color, this kind of dark gray green color. It looks really beautiful together. I also, a couple of months ago, finished this sweater number 13 from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I need to fold down the collar a bit. So, also a super beautiful pattern. I don't remember exactly the yarn I used for this, but I remember that the gray base yarn was a Shetland yarn. I think I knit it with double thread as well. Yeah, and the mohair changed color like this. It's really beautiful, but I don't know, I don't think it's my color. I just never ended up wearing this one, maybe also because it got a bit warm again. But yeah, it looks really nice, but I don't know. I just never really reached for this one. I'm really so impressed with the construction though. This kind of wide raglan, it's so beautiful. It really looks very nicely structured. And and with this one, I quite like that it's a bit more chunky, a bit more oversized. I think it looks really nice. Yeah, I think it's the combination with this kind of like structured shoulders that makes the more clunky aspect of the sweater really nice. I knit so much this year, honestly. Yeah, great. So, yeah, this is another sweater that I finished. Then we're going into the territory of some more recent finished projects. The first one that I want to show you is the Petite Knit balloon sweater. This one is again such a beautiful pattern. Petite Knits, yeah, she works magic, honestly. It's really beautiful. I'm really happy with the yarn that I used for this one. This one is the last yarn that I used up from my trip to Norway. And it's actually the mohair in this project that was from Norway. I visited a hand dyeing yarn atelier there, and they made these really beautiful hand dyed mohairs. I checked the website, but I don't think they have this one anymore. It was their brushed mohair in the color Strassel. But yeah, it's really nice. It's very subtle. The combination with this kind of off-white merino base makes for a really nice, subtle variation in color. And I really like this kind of, yeah, the kind of, I don't know, candy colors in the brushed mohair. It has a bit of pooling here, I think. I didn't alternate my skeins. I think it's also because this part of the sweater I knit before I got my wrist surgery, and this part I knit after, and it looks different. I think my tension was different. I was kind of demotivated at that point as well because I just wanted to get back into knitting, and I had to like relearn how to tension. This is also not blocked yet, so I think you won't even notice that much once it's blocked, and I still am really happy with it. But I restarted this part twice because the difference between the bottom part and the top part was too noticeable. This is a sweater that took a very long time because it had my wrist surgery in the middle of it. So I was really happy when I finally finished this one. The merino base that I used for this one is the Lang merino in the colorway Off-White. And it was also particularly straining on my wrist because it's a very stretchy merino. And this really, I think this really put some extra strain on my wrists. So it took a long time for me to actually finish it, but I'm really happy that I did. I think I've not worn this one really either, but I think it was because I got it finished right before summer, and this one is definitely too warm to wear in summer. The combination of the stitches being very tightly knit and that it's supported by mohair makes this one really warm, so this one is definitely more of a winter garment for me. Then I also finished the Spectacle Strix Puff and Go wrap. This is the first pattern that I've knit up from Spectacle Strix, but I've got a couple of other ones in my project list. It's really beautiful. The yarn that I used for this is Lana Grossa Silk Hair in the colorway Smaragd. And it's a super beautiful dark green. It has like a little bit of variation in tones in there. I find it like a super witchy color. It's really nice. I made a little modification in the pattern in that I didn't make balloon sleeves. I just knit them straight out. I thought for me that the combination of it being a wrap top and having straight sleeves was a bit more what I wanted from it. So yeah, also I've not worn this one yet. I think again for the same reason that I've not worn the balloon sweater, which is that it just got too hot for me to be able to wear this. I think this one I have to wear with a black t-shirt underneath because it's a bit too itchy otherwise. So that makes it definitely a winter garment. This blouse is knit with a double strand of mohair, so it's extremely warm, but so beautiful. Then the last garment that I'm actually able to show you is the camisole number 3 that I finished recently. You could see this one being just finished in the second episode of my podcast. The yarn that I knitted this one with is Lana Grossa Seta yarn in the colorway light beige. It's a super beautiful color. I think I'm gonna wear this top a lot. It's very soft, it's very comfortable. And yeah, this is another camisole from My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I think I really like it in a more neutral color. The camisoles themselves, they have a lot of detailing, and I think the other one that I made, the camisole number 5 in the bright colors, it's just a bit too much, I think. So I think bright colors are maybe best saved for a garment that's a bit more simply structured. But I am really happy with this. It fits really nice. The color is super nice. It's really flattering. It was really fun to knit. There's some really beautiful detailing again in this one. So yeah, My Favorite Things Knitwear is also a designer that I really love, and she makes great patterns. Also the cursed sweater, but we still love the cursed sweater, okay? Then I have a couple of finished projects that I don't have with me here. And the first one of that is the Jenny sweater from Petite Knit as well. It's a beautiful sweater. I knit it for my mom's birthday, which was quite shortly. I think it was 1 month before I got wrist surgery. And it was quite irresponsible to speed knit a birthday gift sweater because I had to hurry with it to make it in time. And I was straining my wrist a lot with that one. So it's called chaotic knitting for a reason, you guys. But yeah, I finished it in time. It's really beautiful. I use Knitting for Olive yarn, both for the merino and the mohair. I used the merino yarn in the color oatmeal and the soft silk mohair in the color oat. And yeah, it's a beautiful combination. I only realized after looking up everything that I wanted to include in this video that the Louvre sweater I made is also knit with a Knitting for Olive yarn, also in the colorway oat. And I didn't realize this, but apparently I have a really strong unconscious love for this colorway. So yeah, again, I really love knitting with Knitting for Olive's yarn. It feels just really pleasant to knit with, and the quality of the yarn is so good. It's so beautiful. So yeah, I definitely am going to use that yarn a lot more. And the Jenny sweater is a really interesting pattern. I learned again a lot of new things there to make the little details that were throughout the whole garment. My mom was very happy with it as well. It fits her nicely and she wears it a lot. So yeah, it's really nice when you can gift knit things and people are really happy with them and they wear them. So yeah, which reminds me, yeah, also for the sweater number 5 that I knitted for my friends, she is really happy with it. It fits her really well. She looks super good with it. So yeah, also really excited about that. I also knitted the Petite Knit sweater jacket. I think it was the first Petite Knit pattern I made, which was maybe not the best idea because it's quite complicated and putting a zipper in a knitted garment is not easy. I also didn't use the best kind of material for this. So this is a garment that I actually did end up giving away. I was not really happy with it. The zipper was kind of bulging in different areas. It looked very nice, the garment, and I was really happy with having had the experience. But I messed up in different places and it was just not a garment that I could grow to love, unfortunately. So I don't actually have any pictures or anything of that So you just have to believe my word that I did knit this one. Yeah, but it's a really beautiful sweater. I think it would be a completely different experience than making it now that I've got a lot more experience. But it was a bit tricky at that point, and good learning experience, but not something that I ended up wearing. Then another thing that I made that I also don't have any pictures of is the Sari Nerdlund Mellon headband. It's a super beautiful headband. I think it has got like some elven inspiration. It's a pattern with really fine cabling. It looks really delicate and very beautiful. I knit this one in King Fibers Soufflé in a white color. I can't exactly find the right one, but it was like a white color and it looked super beautiful. But I can also unfortunately not show you guys how it looks because I ended up giving this one to a friend for her birthday, and I unfortunately don't have any videos or pictures from it either. That's it. Yeah, that was a lot of stuff. I made a lot of things this year, okay? I don't know, like I really didn't realize how much I actually made until I gathered everything for this video, and it's so much. I mean, I don't know like how much time I've spent knitting the last year, but yeah, it's like a lot. So yeah, will not change, I think. I'm still knitting a lot and I'm still going through projects quite fast, so but I'm happy with it. It just makes me worry that at some point I will just be done knitting things for myself. But that point is not yet now because my knitting project list is very long. I just watched a podcast by the Harry Knits and it made my project list so much longer. I was so inspired. So that's not a problem yet for today, but maybe that day will come at some point. I want to thank you guys for watching. I had so much fun sharing all of these finished projects with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day and I wish you happy knitting. Bye!